you check the children? Show a little match sometimes.
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
Sometimes. That is better.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the horror show. I'm Cecil, Laird.
Robert the Wolfman.
And you got Jaime and Fuego, yeah.
And we are here to do a review of another brand new movie that is available to everyone this coming Friday on Netflix. This is the prequel to the zombie flick that we got to review a little bit earlier in the year, called Army of the Dead. That was Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead. This is also from the mind of Zack Snyder in that he co-wrote it, but he did not apparently direct this, which is what I thought going into it, is that he did, but I guess I just misunderstood everything that everyone said about it. They're like, Zack Snyder's doing a prequel, and it's like, okay, well...
No, Zack Snyder wrote.
Co-wrote.
Co-wrote, sorry. Co-wrote.
Yeah. I knew all the supplemental
Prequel.
material was, like, between the animated series, between, this prequel.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, okay, he's trying to expand the universe. Netflix is like, give us money. Help us out. Let's build a zombie verse. And so that... This doesn't really lean very heavily into a zombie verse. I mean, there's acknowledgement of it.
There is,
guess,
but that's also why I feel like he just cramming out all of it in the first movie.
The way I felt about this one, just going into our overall thoughts real quick, is I don't know how long this review is going to be, because I frankly don't have a ton to say about this, because this one kind of felt like if these two movies were twins, like the twins in the Twins movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger, like Army of the Dead would have been Arnold Schwarzenegger, and this would have been the Danny DeVito, all the crap left over sort of thing.
All the purity and strength went into Julius. All the crap that was left over went into what you see in the mirror every morning.
Whoa, you telling me I'm the crap?
This is not true,
Well, wait a minute, Julius, I want to hear this. You telling me that I am the leftover crap, that I'm no good?
He's wrong.
This just feels like a completely superfluous movie to me. I don't think it was necessary at all. It was way too long at 2 hours and 9 minutes, and I didn't see a need for it. I will never choose to revisit it because there's just nothing really special about this film, in my opinion. No. Robert?
It was honestly a really generic bank heist movie that it just was that half-assed kind of introduction into the world of the Army of the Dead, or whatever the hell we're talking about. Army of the Dead?
Yep.
Yeah, this is Army of Thieves.
Yeah, Army
that is
of the
Army of the
Dead.
Dead.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Army of Thieves, by the way, 5 of them. Army of Thieves.
Yeah, I don't know. And it
Something
wasn't much
I
of an
didn't take into
army.
consideration.
It
It wasn't much of an army.
Yeah.
They didn't have any guns or anything. But no, like...
Yeah, and actually, Homie at one point even says, doesn't he? He's like, this is all we have. Like, this is all.
Yeah, it's definitely not.
Don't
an
get me
army.
wrong. Like the character of Dieter was actually...
Title is terrible.
He was actually one of the more enjoyable parts of Army of the Dead, so I can kind of see why they gave him this movie, or Zack Snyder kind of co-wrote this movie for him, or whatever. But still, it felt pointless. It was way too long. They could have cut off a good solid 30 minutes. The most highlights part of this movie was the bank vaults and some of the stuff with that. But other than that, everything else was pretty throwaway.
I guess.
It was really pretty. I will say that, like where they shot
Pretty location.
It was very
Yeah,
location, but it was very fucking pretty.
Yeah. Scouts to the location, peeps who found all of these different spots that they wanted to film things, and also we have to give credence to the fact that our Dieter, or as he is known in this film, Sebastian.
He
directed this
Yeah.
movie, which is kind of cool. It's not a Zack Snyder movie as far as a visualistic standpoint,
Not by any
and for
stretch.
better or for worse, as I'm sure some people would think, but. I had fun with this movie. I'm not a big heist guy, so I haven't seen any of the Ocean's movies.
This is worse than all of them.
Dude, I watched the first one. I never really cared to watch the other ones, and
This is worse than all of them, although I haven't watched Ocean's Women.
Oh, the girl.
Ocean's Women.
Like, they did 11, 12, and 13.
Was it Ocean's
Not
8?
at all.
I think.
Was it Ocean's 8? Okay.
Well, I'm not going to go on record to say that, but that's what my mind is racking, having not seen any of these. But, I had enough fun with this movie, and it's probably because of the fact that this Dieter / Sebastian character, I really like him.
He's a
and I feel
funny
like he
character.
has cool conviction, and he's amusing to me, and
He does not, to me, warrant
Warrants a whole
carrying a film.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, and
He's
something.
Not necessarily.
It's not that he can't be a leading man. Like, he carried that part fine.
No,
It's
but
just
the character.
he's not. They didn't make him interesting enough to carry an
No,
entire movie.
well,
no, they
that's the
didn't
problem too.
develop his
Even with,
backstory
even with
enough.
this character, he's just too overly awkward throughout the entire film.
And they
That's
play
who
the
he is,
same
I mean,
beats.
But I
Yeah,
get
but how many
that.
times are you gonna play the screaming
You
like
gotta
a girl
thicken
joke?
up a little bit.
That was one of my biggest complaints
Screaming
about
like
the
a
movie
girl
as
like
far as
4 different times in 4 different
It was
scenarios.
funny in the first part of it,
Yeah.
and then it just
You gotta sack up, son.
Yeah. Well, as far as some people don't have the ability, But I mean, the big thing for me was that the whole film,
speech.
the whole film felt like just recycling ideas from Army of the Dead. It felt like recycling of ideas from so many other heist films that I only
that were done way better.
Yeah, that I only have heard about as opposed to actually watch.
You're not gonna find a better heist film than Heat. If you want to watch a good heist film, watch Heat.
Good name drop. Yeah.
Yeah, Val Kilmer. I mean, watch that documentary.
Oh,
That was
absolutely,
friggin'
dude.
great,
That fucking documentary
So-
put a hard
Yeah.
frog
Let's
in my throat.
let's speed through this. I don't want to spend a ton of time on this.
Yeah,
So
but this film was aight.
Acting.
Yeah. So, well,
Or-
the story just
or
real
story,
quick.
yeah,
Again,
yeah.
it's about Sebastian as he basically starts off the film telling the story of these 4 vaults that were built by this guy Wagner, who built the vaults that they cracked in Army of the Dead.
Yeah, which
I
is
had
the-
forgotten that that was the 4th vault. Like, I thought the 4th vault was going to show up somewhere in this movie.
Yeah.
But no, like
Yeah.
it's talking about the first 3 vaults that same guy built, and that's what they're going to crack. And
I thought
basically,
that lore was cool.
He's
I
recruited by
liked it.
Melisandre from Game of Thrones to help crack these 3 safes. More for an adventure for them, but the other people on the crew are more in it for the money of it all. And so it's literally a 5-person crew, Army of Thieves, my butthole.
Yeah.
But-
Shout out to Robert for calling that out.
But nonetheless, it just that's it. That's the length of the story. Except the fact that, let me say, this film is a love story.
unnecessarily veering into that. I think I was a little bit more forgiving of the story because of the fact that I liked the Dieter / Sebastian character. He was one of my personal favorites of the Army of the Dead. Army of the Dead. I'm even thinking like Robert right now, where I'm like, that's the title.
I keep wanting to say Armored Darkness.
I did. I would have rather watched Army of Darkness than watched Army
there
of Thieves.
was an Army of the Dead in Army of the Dead. There was not an Army of Thieves in Army
yeah,
of
they're
Thieves.
called
Yeah.
zombies.
Yeah, I'm just saying the title is a very bad misnomer.
Yeah, and this is the one thing that we need to say without, and this is not a spoiler, okay? So, despite the association with this brand that, through Snyder and through Netflix, they're trying to develop and make into a big-ass thing, you're only going to see zombies in a couple different scenes without giving specifications, and
So yeah, this is a
Story-wise.
prequel to Army of the Dead,
Yeah.
but this isn't necessarily a prequel to the zombie apocalypse that occurs in the Army of the
Well,
Dead.
Yeah,
true.
yeah, you see it happening at the same
It
time.
literally takes place at the same time because he's still over in Germany. Obviously, it's contained in
Yeah,
only
this
Los
is all
Angeles.
in Europe.
Yeah.
And they're watching, like, the zombie apocalypse
Prague,
apparently originated
Paris,
in the U.S.
Yep.
So they're just watching
And that was where-
occasionally
So everyone else
stories,
is normal
yeah.
fucking life.
it was where it was contained, too, remember?
Yeah.
I mean, so, yeah. But,
That's true. That's true.
Yeah,
So-
yeah. Aside from that, I mean, amusing dialogue. It's described on Netflix as an action comedy, and I guess sure,
I
it's
don't
an
remember
action
laughing
comedy.
once.
Um,
I
There
don't
was
remember.
there was a
laughing
couple
once.
chuckles. Well,
Yeah.
you're just being a sourpuss.
well, and it's also
It wasn't
very
funny.
meta.
It didn't look. I granted, it's hard to make me
Whoa.
laugh, but I laugh a lot. No, I'm just saying.
You're so
I'm not
stoic.
getting riled
You
up.
need to calm your clam.
Chill out. People like it when we get
I
like
know.
passionate.
Yeah,
I
they
know.
do.
So-
yeah, any of us actually.
Exactly.
You
So,
know?
so
Yeah,
what
I
I'm saying, and I'm not angry. I'm passionate. Like, I didn't laugh at all. Now I'm angry.
I had my fair share of
I didn't-
chuckles in this movie.
I don't remember laughing once. Where did you chuckle?
It was just some of Dieter and Sebastian's banter, and also a little bit from the computer programmer girl.
Yeah,
I thought
she
was kinda
actually
funny.
had
How many times are we
And
gonna laugh
also-
at?
Nah.
Well,
Well, it was
not
his, it was
that,
his timidity. It was the awkwardness of his interaction.
I guess.
there was
It was
there were a couple
sad.
parts, especially in the beginning, and whatnot, like with his awkwardness and
also his
banter,
job.
his
where
job.
He's sitting and he's looking. This
There was a
woman's
couple-
yelling at
there were
him,
a couple
and then he
things that
looks
no
over.
chuckle.
Dude, it
But-
felt so Gremlins to me, right?
little bit,
Billy
a little
at the
bit.
bank,
Yeah.
like just taking the bullshit from people.
It was very Zach
Yeah.
Galligan in that regard, I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah.
This kind of
Wanted.
Sure. That. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, which I love.
In other words, nothing new. Right, it had a feel of stuff that we've seen.
Well, that's the
in
problem
past
with
done
that's
better.
the problem
biggest
with
problem
every
with this
damn
movie.
bank heist movie.
Yeah.
This is
they're
very
the same.
I would not even put this in the top 10, maybe not even the top 20 of bank heist movies.
Like, I'll still go back and rewatch The Italian Job.
Italian Job's great.
Yeah.
Heat's great. The Ocean's movies are fun in and of
Oh, God,
themselves.
what was the one that Spike Lee did?
I
That
even
one was,
I'll
that
put,
one was really
dude.
good,
I'll put Quick Change up there in top 20 bank heist movies. You
Yeah,
guys
I
watch
thought you watched
where
that.
Bill Murray robs a bank?
No, I haven't seen that.
He robs a bank as a clown and then
Oh,
takes off all
I
of his makeup
remember
and
this.
acts like he was
Yeah, I remember
freed
this movie.
from the fucking robbers as a hostage.
Oh, okay.
And he comes
That's
out
smart.
with his bag of money
Smart.
and fucking it's really funny. It's a great movie. That's a better bank heist movie than this one is.
This story, as generic as it felt at times, it's like, okay, you would have something like Army of the Dead that was released directly to theaters and people would go see it and everything.
Correct.
And this felt like, oh, we're going to try to cash in on the property and release something direct to video as a prequel.
It's absolutely right. This felt like the straight to VOD offshoot of a bigger budget movie, which it legitimately was.
Yeah.
I didn't even think it was going to feel that way because I didn't consider it wouldn't be by Zack Snyder. I thought it was a Zack Snyder deal. Like, I thought it was what James Gunn did with The Peacemaker, right? He made
yeah,
the Suicide Squad,
he's directing
and
all
then
those
because of
episodes
COVID,
of that.
he directed a bunch of the Peacemaker series coming with John Cena. I was thinking this was the same thing, right? They made Army of the Dead, and then COVID hit, and they made
that's
Army
right.
of Thieves. I was thinking that's what he did.
Same, but
Way different. Way different.
And I mean, Zach had been trying to make Army of the Dead for a long time.
Oh, absolutely. It kept
so I
getting
would
pushed back,
imagine
delayed, and
over,
toyed with.
Over and over.
and-
He's been trying to make it since Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah, well, that's when
Yeah.
I know it was like I think he had the script written at the
He
time,
did.
or he was like about finishing up at the time as he was
just
doing.
couldn't find anybody
yeah.
to fund that shit, you know. And so he just kept making the mass marketability of it and all the tie-in
Getting
stuff,
basically
just
building
bigger
his
and
building his
grander.
name.
I was wanting this review to be shorter, but because we're having fun with it, it's probably going to end up
That's
being longer than
fine.
usual. But let's just
That
real
means
quick
more work for
hit on
some,
the. That's the problem. So hit on that acting real quick. I thought everyone was okay, but I thought there
Nobody
was.
stood out.
Well, I just thought some of the characters were specifically. Brad Cage was stupid.
Yeah.
I thought
Our
that was a
third
dumb
rate,
character.
yeah.
Like, the
Wolverine.
reasoning behind why he's Brad Cage is funny,
Yeah.
but the character is just like I didn't. Here's the problem. I liked Army of the Dead. I connected with a lot of those characters.
Oh,
I didn't
both
connect
you and
with
I
a
liked a
single
lot of it,
one
Ron.
of the characters in this film.
Yeah, same.
Not one of the five.
No.
Like, that's as many as I had an option
I-
to care about, and I didn't care about any of them.
I was gonna do Redeemer, but I mean, you know.
I don't know.
Acting
like,
wise, they
acting-wise,
did
like-
fine. It just they didn't have much to work with.
that's true. Even for what little backstory that we got for when the characters were introduced, there wasn't a whole lot to really become much likability. I would say something about the writing of the characters felt very generic and plain.
Yeah, I agree.
It was plain yogurt.
Fuego, your thoughts on the acting?
Yeah, I mean, the thing about this script, and it's so meta-heavy in the fact that there's numerous times where they're like, I feel like we're in an action movie. I feel like we're in a... Like, anytime it gets that self-referential, I feel like the characters are almost in on the joke, but it's lost its value of humor over the years. And, dude, the main Interpol guy who's after them was just terrible. He was
I will,
so deliberately over the top.
Shot me in
and-
the ass.
It's so bad.
I thought that was kind of chuckly, especially when you see his flask was what was shot
Yeah,
through.
that's
And,
that's
like,
his
that was-
determination. Is like he
Yeah.
shot me in the ass.
Yeah.
Fuck them.
That's so dumb.
Yeah, aside from our director / actor, producer, I can't say that even the girl from Game of Thrones, who I thought was decent,
She was
you know?
fine.
I mean,
She carried her weight fine. She didn't
Yeah.
pull me out of the movie, but
yeah.
she didn't do anything. Like, I didn't care about her character. In
But
particular.
even still, like going back to like it's a useless love story.
It is absolutely
Like, and it still didn't
because we
go
know
anywhere.
We know what happens
Yeah.
with Dieter after this point.
Thank
That's
you.
where it's so tough
Thank
to
you.
do a prequel
Well, they did.
when you know everything.
Well,
that happens
obviously, the
afterwards.
couple foreshadowing bullshits and everything that they had from some of the dream
yeah.
sequences.
Oh, the
Oh
dreams.
yeah.
Yeah, she's like, oh, it's a prophecy.
Without getting super spoilery.
Yeah,
but,
well,
no, it's okay.
well, we already
I mean,
everyone
I-
knows what
yeah,
happens to him.
spoilers for Army of the Dead, I guess.
Yeah.
It's
but-
been out for how
I
long
think one of the
now?
biggest issues though was that the dialogue written for these characters was pretty bad.
The
most of
dialogue
time,
was rough.
and that
The movie-
inhibits an actor.
The
Yeah.
filmmaking itself just pales in comparison to Zack Snyder filmmaking. So it's
Even-
not that it was
even Sucker
bad.
Punch.
It's just very basic, very
Yeah.
very basic,
But-
simple filmmaking.
PSP.
Where this movie actually does shine is the vaults.
Yeah, some
And-
good
and-
segues,
and the
design,
effects,
yeah,
production
design,
design,
Production,
sure,
yeah. So the vault designs and the backstory with those actually is the shining star of this film. Well, especially once you get to see the final vaults.
The interior mechanics.
The
of them,
yeah,
I
well, I'm
think,
trying to like,
of the
yeah,
whole-
like,
that-
the intricacy,
the
intricacy and like
How many
what?
times can you go back to that? and
Well,
be-
I
And
mean,
that
it's-
was where
well,
I lost interest because I felt like
you
we
kept
just
getting
kept
the
going
sa-
back
kept
to the
going
same.
back
I'm
inside
like,
But-
oh, there's three
That-
of them.
but that's
this
not.
time?
But that's not what I'm talking about. The actual outer design of
Oh, the
each
exterior
different
was
vault.
beautiful,
The
you're
exterior
right,
of each
yeah.
different vault had its own nice little characteristics, but it also came with its own little story that
Yeah.
was developed with each vault.
And I like that tie-in. That's one of the few script aspects that I know we
Yes.
already went bypassed that and made our way. I thought that was a very intriguing. The fact that these symphonic movements were what made him, and also his loss. The inspiration to do what he did and make something so intricate. So
Effects wise, there's not much to talk about. I mean, you see some blood spurting when there's a couple of brief action sequences where someone is dispatching a couple of guards and you see them get hit in the face and they spray blood. That's about it. Even when the zombies are on screen, like it's a dream, so they don't actually get to start tearing anyone apart, so there's no zombie violence. There are some zombie effects, but they weren't even that particularly impressive to me.
And that's where I really want to chime in is I feel like if they dropped the amount of F-bombs in this could have easily been a PG-13
easy.
film.
It's straight
With
to
the amount of
Netflix, so they didn't have
carnage
to
and
worry
violence
about
and
it, but
everything.
it absolutely could have been
Although it still had an
PG-13.
actual rating because I don't
Oh,
know if this
did?
is going to
Okay.
be in certain regions in theaters, but yeah, it had the R rating. So
Definitely not worth
yeah.
it. So, I don't know, guys. I don't feel like I have a lot more to say about this one. I don't think it's...
It was pretty looking at times.
Like, it's gonna
The
be
scenery.
on Netflix,
Yeah.
so if you want to watch it and you pay for Netflix, go for it, but
Especially
just
if you
don't
like the
expect a lot
series.
out of it. Just
Yeah,
don't
sure.
expect a lot out of it.
You're
Yeah.
just basically getting more of the story of one of the characters from the first movie. And again, he was one of the more enjoyable characters
Oh, totally.
from the first movie.
Yeah, one of the
So-
more lovable ones. So
Yeah.
October 29th is when it's going to be available, at least here in North America. Not sure about other regions, but if you have the inclination, if you like Army of the Dead, check it out.
So thank you guys very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, click the like button and subscribe. Ding that notification bell to make sure you don't miss our reviews of the 3rd episode of Chucky. We're going to be reviewing Last Night in Soho. We're going to be reviewing the new Paranormal Activity movie this week.
So
A
much.
ton going on this week. So,
the end of the
and
month.
then we have our Halloween. We're going to be doing a stream on Halloween. So
Oh yeah.
it is going to be and then the day before Halloween, we have our first live
we have
event.
our
It's
first
going to
live
be
event.
completely a nuts.
Dude, that weekend's
Last of
gonna be
October.
insane.
That's this weekend.
It's going to be
my
exciting.
friends.
I know.
It's going to
Oh,
be
my
exhausting.
Well, that weekend, this weekend, whatever. The
Exactly.
weekend
Yeah,
is
whatever.
gonna be whatever. It's gonna be a crazy weekend, guys.
So, thank you guys very much for watching. Until next time, I've been Cecil Laird.
Rope the Wolfman.
And gracias. I mean, Fuego!
And remember, stay scared.